of strangers, the agony of friends. There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is life.
This is Fear a Day, presented by the Maximum Mediocrity Podcast, the final episode of the 5-part mini-series documenting our friend Brad's descent into madness as he watches the Human Centipede 2 every single day for 31 days straight. On this episode, we talk to him after his final viewing. All right, here we go. Oh, we're calling Brad. Let's see how he's doing.
Hello.
Hello, he lives.
Just barely, sir.
You've done it. Have you done it? Hold on, we got to confirm. Have you done it? We have to know, with bated breath, have you watched the Human Centipede 2 every single day for 31 days?
No.
What? What happened?
I watched it twice today.
Holy shit. Oh my god. You're a madman. You did it. You double featured it the last day.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
last day we go hard, bro. We watched the black and white version and the colored version, and I'm losing my mind.
Congratulations, you have done it. You have done what no one else has ever done before.
You know what? I've been thinking about that a lot through this month, and I really hope no one else has ever done it before.
There's no way.
Because if there's someone who's like, if there's someone who tries to take my, like, you know, take my trophy off the mantle and be like, I watched it for 2 months straight, I'm like, dude, you can take that, but are you okay? Are you doing good?
As somebody may say about you.
No, everything's not fine. So just to follow up with last week, where I was like, I feel like I'm doing fine, and you had told me probably your wife Jess has a different idea, and literally in that same day, she talked to me and said, you know what, Brad, you need to find a bright spot every single day because things are getting kind of dark for you.
Oh, shit. Your wife is intervening.
Yeah, she was like, because there's a podcast I listen to, and they started off, like once the pandemic hit, they started off like asking each other what their bright spot of the day was, because, you know, when the pandemic hit, everyone was in a dark spot. So, you know, add bright spots to your life. And I've found that to be like really, really great. And I've tried to find as many bright spots as I can. But yeah, she just reminded me, like, apropos of nothing, she's not around when we're recording these. And she was just like, you need to find some bright spots in your life. And I was like, oh, shit. Yep, Dave was right.
You're telling me that your bright spot isn't watching the Human Centipede 2 full sequence?
Short answer, yeah. My bright spot has never been watching this movie.
Mm-hmm. My bright spot is going up to my closet, putting on my beret, coming downstairs, setting up all my audio equipment, and hitting the call button to have this phone call once a week. That has absolutely been my bright spot every single week, and thinking about it.
I have to admit, I've had a really great time talking to you about it. It's kind of, you know, I only talk to my therapist every other week, and this has been a once a week bright spot to kind of work through what I'm doing. And for the record, if you didn't hear what just happened, I don't know if it came through on the audio recording, but I was going to celebrate this entire thing with popping a bottle of champagne, and I was taking off the metal, like top of it, and it just exploded in front of me.
Holy shit. I think it did come through.
It just exploded, and like I didn't touch it. I was just like turning that, because you know how you have the cork, and on top of that there's like kind of that metal thing.
Yeah.
And I was just
The
like
cage.
turning it to like unravel it, and it just exploded. I was going to pop it in a fit of celebration, and what ended up happening was disappointing and anticlimactic, which I think is a very important thing, because I feel like that's a metaphor for what we're doing today.
That's a metaphor for this whole month.
Yes.
Like, well, let's get into it a little bit. I imagine this episode's going to be a little longer, but we want to keep moving.
Yes.
What did you expect to get out of this project, and maybe what did you get?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't know what I expected to get out of it. I expected I guess, to challenge myself. That's all I expected. And what I got out of it was a very interesting experience that I would have never have expected.
How so?
So this is a weird thing. I don't recommend this movie to anyone.
Oh, of course.
But now that I've watched it for 31 days, I don't understand what life is without this movie.
Oh, no. He Stockholmed himself.
Yeah. I have completely Stockholmed myself, where, like, I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring when I don't have to watch this movie. I don't, it's like when you, like, stub your toe and your toe hurts, and, like, for, like, a week, you're just walking around limping. And you get to a point where you're just like, this is my life now. Well, for me, my life now is the Human Centipede, so I don't know where I go from here. I feel lost.
That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt. Oh, yeah. I guess when you have just a constant in your life, whether it's positive or negative, you get used to it, and it kind of can help you get through the day.
Yeah, it's like I've emotionally become scabbed over. Like, the scab is there, and I'm aware of it, and I acknowledge it, and I became used to it. It's just it's almost become something. It's a constant that I'm used to, and I accept that every day I have something that I have to do. As weird as it sounds, because I'm creating this art piece, and because you and I are creating this thing, it's something that I'm making, and it gives me meaning in a world that doesn't have meaning. And that is the Human Centipede to me right now. So I am in a weird place.
This is a weird headspace. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect to get so meta and so philosophical.
I didn't either. And the last like few days, like I thought I'd be more excited, but now I'm just like, I don't know what my life is anymore.
Oh my God. I almost want to do a follow-up with you after you talk to your therapist.
Yeah.
Who, it sounds like, should have pulled the plug on this, possibly should have been disbarred.
Yeah, there's no possible. I probably should have. I don't recommend this to anyone.
Yeah, don't watch this movie. Do not watch
Don't.
Human Centipede Part 2 full sequence.
Or any of them, for that matter.
Did you do the split screen watching?
I did do the split screen watching.
How was that?
Actually, the weird part is not as interesting as I thought it would be.
Really?
Yeah, it was just kind of like, I don't know, it was really weird kind of watching both of them at the same time. It kind of just, I mean, maybe it wasn't as interesting. It was reaffirming to my beliefs that the black and white version is the better version of this movie. I really feel like I'm indoctrinated in it, because I feel like I need to like buy this movie now because it's become such a part of me.
You can't.
But the black and white version is so good. It's not. It's terrible.
You
but
just
like,
said it's so good. What's happening to you?
I don't know what's happening.
So
The black and white, the color version is just so much worse, and it amplifies how much better the black and white. Yeah, I'm all over the place. This is not a good place for me.
What has this movie done to you?
I don't know, sir. I don't know.
Who are you? Give me back my friend.
Yeah, right? No, I don't know. I'm lost.
You just said it was so good. I can't believe that. And it's recorded.
No, it's not. See, it's comparing like diarrhea to a turd. They're both shit, but one of them's better than the other.
If you say so.
I don't know if that metaphor made any sense.
Oh my God. And before we get too far away from this, maybe for people who have been listening and kind of forgot why you were doing this, this was for Fun-A-Day for the local library. Do you want to just explain what it was supposed to be?
Oh, yeah. So it's really cool. Delaware has this program. We in Delaware have this program, this art show where they allow anyone to participate in, where every day for a month, you create something. You create a piece of art, whether it can be absolutely anything you want, and you can go as crazy as you want. It's called Fun-A-Day. But because my brain works different than most people, I decided to make it Torture-A-Day and make this project, which is really weird because your wife is participating in it and my wife is participating in it, and they're both creating very wonderful and whimsical pieces of art, and I'm creating just someone going crazy.
Your Fun-A-Day is insanity.
My Fun-A-Day is insanity. Yes, that's my project has fun in heavy quotes.
Yeah. You're more like Sisyphus.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
That's like saying that rolling the boulder up the hill was fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And for you, your Fun-A-Day was not watching it, but was writing 2 sentences each watch. Yes.
So basically what I wanted to do was kind of track my, my progress, my mental state through 2 sentences because, hey, I'm super clever because it's a sequel. So 2. Ha! But it gave me the ability to kind of condense my thoughts into 2 sentences, which is really interesting because there's so much there. And you, being the person that you are, was like, you can't just do 2 sentences. We're going to have to create a podcast about that. And you were right.
I don't know if I like that I was right, because I've just detailed my friend's descendants into insanity.
Yeah.
But I hope this is entertaining. I did want to ask about the 2 sentences. So did you stick to that formula the whole time? Did you do your 2 sentences every day?
There was... I don't remember the exact date. There was one date where I wrote way more than 2 sentences, and I was just like, no, this is my project. I'll write as many sentences as I want. I don't care. I'm losing my mind.
That was the worst day, I would say.
Oh, yeah. It was like the 15th. It was right in the middle of the month where I was just like, I'm fucking losing this. But for the most part, I think there might have been one other one where I did 1 sentence, but yeah, it was 2 sentences. I try to stick with. Now, I will agree, some of them are run-on sentences, but run-on sentences are still sentences.
Can you give us an example of some of these sentences?
Yeah, I absolutely can do that. What would you like kind of from the... what kind of sentence would you like? Do you want a hopeful one or a bad one or a?
Give me a mix. I'm kind of interested to see the spread.
Okay, all right.
Because I would have no idea going in. I have no idea what you've written. We've never discussed the sentences.
No.
So I have no idea how you would write 2 sentences every day about this. So I'm going completely blind, nothing to expect. No idea what to expect.
Here we go.
July 8th, Every single day it gets harder to press play on this abomination of filmmaking, and I'm not even into double digits. Yet this project gives me a sense of drive because it has forced me to work on an art project.
Okay. So kind of what I expect. Kind of interestingly enough, that sounds very similar to what you've just said earlier today. We've kind of come back, and that was on the 8th, so that was pretty...
That was on the 8th. Oh, I can do something more kind of funny or like weird.
Yeah.
I ate a brownie at the halfway point of this movie. Basically, the best part of this experience.
That was the third. So that was very fresh into the project.
Yeah. And I made brownies earlier that day, or I think maybe the day before. Doesn't matter. Those brownies were delicious, and it really made the experience so much better.
All right, let's go for something that's like a little bit more, that's a little later. I want to hear the tone shift.
We do later? Okay.
Because on the 3rd, you were pretty in high spirits because you had brownies. On the 8th, you were pretty low. So let's get maybe...
Oh, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Here's the 27th.
Oh.
July 27th. Please don't watch this movie as much as I have because it will lay eggs in your brain and affect your psyche. I need a way out of this, but I don't know what things will be like once I stop watching this.
Oh, shit. That's dark. Oh, my God.
Yep.
That's perfect. I think those 3 encapsulate the whole project very well.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I want to run back on some things that we talked about in episode 1.
Okay.
So for our final shining moment, what was the best part of the Human Centipede 2?
Best part. I think the best part out of everything, the performance of the mom. I think her just weird, the way she acted, the way she carried herself, the way she read her lines, I think everything she did was phenomenal. Now, do I like the character? No, she was a monster. She sucked. But the actress, I think, who played the role, I really hope that she got that character and just went so far over the top, and that's why she's acting like that. But it carried me through. I would lose focus, and then the second she came on screen, I would pay attention.
Fair enough. Sometimes you need a character like that, someone who just takes their performance to the next level. Whether it's a good level or a bad level, it's up for interpretation. But something to mix it up.
I consider it a bonkers level because it is bonkers. There's no way anyone would decide to make that performance, but it ruled. In my experience, I would love to show everyone her performance because just do like a super cut of her. It was great. It took me through the movie. It made the movie better.
That's good. I'm glad that you got to have that in these moments of darkness. Now, of course, then my next question is, overall, what was the worst part of the movie?
So I want to say that it was the first time I watched the movie, a baby gets killed and I didn't like it. And I think that was bad, but I realized as I watched the movie more and more times, that scene is gross, disgusting, and just reprehensible. But the thing that I hate most is that when the main character makes the centipede shit themselves, they made a conscious decision to color the shit brown. And there's no reason to it. it doesn't make the movie better. It doesn't. It just becomes more grotesque, and I think that is my most hated thing about it. It's way more subtle than all the other like over the top things, but making the shit brown, there's no reason for it.
Confirmed brown. We've talked about the brown in a black and white movie a lot, which is an interesting pop of color. That's an interesting choice to make that your pop of color is brown, so close to black already.
Yeah, and I really hate to compare it because they are two very different movies, but like, you know, Steven Spielberg made a very, very clear point to put that girl in a red dress in Schindler's List. That was an important thing, and it had an emotional resonance to it. Tom Six decided to just color the shit brown for no reason, and it adds nothing, but he had to take time. Editors had to take time to do it, and it doesn't add anything to it. It doesn't do anything. It just makes literally no sense.
It's just for disgusting factor.
Yes.
Jeez.
Jeez, indeed.
And of course, talking about the director's intentions,
Ooh.
What do you think the moral of the Human Centipede 2 is, according to the director? Like, if you could get into the director's head and be there when he woke up and said, I'm going to make the Human Centipede 2, what do you think he wanted people to take away from the movie?
Honestly, I think he woke up every day and wanted people to take away from the Human Centipede the acknowledgement that he is the most groundbreaking and crazy and thought-provoking director there ever is. I don't think there's a moral. I think he thinks he's making art, and he's not. Because it's meta. The movie is meta, for lack of a better word. I think he thinks he's great. And this movie, to me, I think Tom Six thinks he's just jerking himself off. That's all I think he's doing.
That's it. This was just a jerk-off session.
Yeah, because it's saying how he can get away with anything. He can do stuff. He's edgy and cool and different, but he doesn't know that to be edgy and cool and different, you have to have a story. He doesn't understand the fundamentals of filmmaking or storytelling.
What do you think would have made this movie better?
I have three things that will make this movie better. And I've been thinking about it throughout the entirety of watching it. One, there is absolutely zero suspense. Add cops. He lives in London. He works in a car park in London. He abducts 12 plus people and murders 12 plus people, but no one's investigating it. No one's trying to figure out what he's doing. He just gets away. He literally gets away with murder. There's no substance. There's no like suspense or anything there. So what you need to do is add a cop character or someone investigating or whatever. Someone would figure out these people are missing. So if you have like other shots of people being like, well, my family's missing and everything seems to be revolving around this car park. Let's investigate this car park that has bloodstains all over it because he just keeps murdering people there. Nope, nothing there. And in fact, the movie just ends with him going back to work. After he kills all the people in the Human Centipede, spoilers, sorry, don't watch this movie, he just goes back to work. There's no problem.
That's it. It's just, he gets away with it, the movie's over.
Yeah, the movie's over. There's no suspense. There's no like, will he get away with it? Won't he get away with it? It's just, he does a thing. He makes a Human Centipede and then goes back to work. That's the movie. That's literally all it is. So add some suspense, add something there, add some tension. Tension's good, especially in a horror movie. Tension is good.
I don't think I've ever seen a horror movie without tension, so to have none seems like an oversight.
It really does, right? Even the first one, as terrible as those cops were, there were cops in the first one, and they were like, hey, maybe we have a human centipede on our hands. They didn't say that, but, that's funny. But, like...
What is this, some kind of human centipede squad?
Yeah. I mean, the first movie did take place in Germany, so I don't know much about Germany, but who knows? There could be a bunch of human centipedes there.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know anybody that hasn't seen them.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know. All right, so that's number one, is create tension where there isn't any. Number two is soundtrack.
Ooh.
So the music, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't create the tension that you need. I don't know what day it was, but there was one day where I decided to add some like background music to the movie. And I decided to add, Dave, your favorite band of all time, Joy Division, to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you listening, Dave doesn't like Joy Division. That's why I said that. I added
just had to out me. Fucking outed me.
Hell yeah, dude. Now. I'm going to out you 100%. Joy Division rules. But I added the song Atmosphere, Joy Division's Atmosphere, to where Martin like actually creates the centipede. And if you cue it up at a great point, it works and makes the movie creepier and disturbing. And I was really upset because I was really proud of it. And I showed my wife this moment, and she was like, yeah, that's really unsettling. But if you watch the movie, it's not unsettling. But once you add that additional music, it becomes way worse and way creepier. So I think it would have done better with a better soundtrack.
Yeah. It sounds like even just better sound direction in general.
Yeah. I think a lot of people forget how important music is to making movies. Like, you can really change the way people feel based on music.
Oh, yeah. It's a third of the experience that people don't recognize.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's one of the most underrated things. You can watch the same scene with like 3 different music cues, and the tone is completely different.
Yeah, you get a totally different experience.
Exactly. So I think it would have done better with just hiring someone who could make good music or buying the rights to specific songs to make it weird and interesting. In fact, I noticed midway through, there's like a mandolin sitting in Martin's room. And I thought it would be really upsetting if midway through the movie, he just starts playing the mandolin and singing a song. And I was like, oh, that would really change the tone, especially if he starts singing a song to the Human Centipede.
Ooh, that would have been interesting.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to do. I've been watching this, and I'm trying to create an interesting movie.
You're just making a new movie in your own head.
Yeah, and I'm like, this would be kind of interesting if we add that to it.
The Human Centipede 2, the musical.
Oh, that would be very interesting.
You'd buy the shit out of that. You'd watch the shit out of that.
Absolutely.
Another 30 days.
Yeah, absolutely. Third thing, this is the one that I've had for the longest time, ever since I started watching the colored version. I think it would be fun if it went from, not fun, but I think it would be interesting if it went from color to black and white. Like it went back and forth. So like in his normal life, it's in color. And the second he becomes violent, hits someone with a crowbar or shoots someone, it transforms to black and white.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, I think that would create a more interesting dynamic. And now that we're talking about it, I realize that the three things I'm saying is change the story, change the soundtrack, and also shoot it differently. I think I'm just saying make a new movie. I'm just realizing that that's what I'm suggesting. Those three things are kind of huge.
Yeah, those are all the movie.
Yeah. So I guess the way to improve this movie is to make a better movie.
Are you ever going to watch this movie again?
Yes. I want to say no, but again, going back to that weird thing, I think this movie is now a part of me.
It is. There's a human centipede shaped scar on your heart now.
Mm-hmm. I am become the human centipede.
I can't believe you fucking did this. I can't fucking believe it.
I can't either, man. I can't either, and I can't believe how much it's burrowed itself into my fucking brain.
Like, it's just there. Like,
yep, it's never going to leave. I understand brainwashing now.
Yeah. There is no Warren Bossing say.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it makes sense. Like, brainwashing now to me makes sense because it's just going to be an interesting ride for me not having to watch this movie. And that's the dumbest thing I've ever said because I hate this movie with every fiber of my being. But after watching it for 31 days, it's almost like I'm going to miss it. In fact, one of the things I compared it to, which I should have read, but I couldn't find it. I compared it to an abusive partner.
Oh yeah, 100%. Totally. Already get it. Already on board.
Yeah. I'm emotionally and honestly, sometimes physically just abused by this, but you know what? I try to find moments of happiness to get me through my life.
You have to.
With the Human Centipede. Sometimes
it's with brownies. Sometimes it's from a scolding from your wife.
Yes. I'm glad she scolds me. You know what? In times like that, I needed to hear that. Again, she's brilliant, and I'm just a monkey in the corner playing with feces.
While another monkey records him.
Absolutely.
I feel like you're like the guy who watched the movie more than anybody else in the production.
I hope so. I hope no one has seen this movie as many times as I have.
We have to know. I feel like I got to like reach out to somebody. Somebody would know this answer. What is the average time people watch a movie when they're making a movie?
I feel like knowing you, Dave, and how much you deep dive on things, I think if you really go into it, within 6 months, there's a possibility I might be in the Guinness Book of World Records.
We should reach out to them. God. I'm like we're kind of at the end here, but it's like, how do you end this? You've done it.
I've done it. I will say this. My wife, who again is smarter than me, especially when it comes to art projects, she told me to recommend other kind of horror movies, things along the same lines, but movies that are better. So I would recommend one, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. That movie is great. It's not as bloody as you think it is, but it's really gross. But it's also like it's a world building experience. You feel for all of the characters. All the characters have weight, and it's just everything means something while watching the movie. So I think Tom Six was trying to make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of gross film, but forgot that the only reason it's kind of gross is because you care about every character, even the bad guys. You can justify. And the other one, which if you only know how it ends, you think it's a gross movie, but it's actually like a very interesting exploration of two people not understanding what motives are. The Japanese movie Audition. It's 2 hours. It is longer. It goes places near the end, but again, it's character building and a world building that is great. There are great movies out there. Watch good movies. Don't watch trash like Human Centipede 2.
Well said. Well said. Well, Brad, thank you very much for doing this. Nobody asked you to do it, but thank you anyway. This was an interesting experiment into the endurance of bad horror movies and of repeat watchings. I guess, if people want to hear more of you, they can always subscribe to the Maximum Mediocrity podcast. We have you on semi-regularly. You're always a big part of the show, and we love having you on. And, we love doing silly projects like this. So, if anyone's listening and they want to hear more, feel free to subscribe.
Yeah, let us know. I have fun doing silly projects with you, and I look forward to doing more in the future. Oh, actually, I do have one more interesting thing. I'm sorry that I have to curtail. I know we're kind of closing things up, but so I just want to point out that one of the things I learned through watching through the credits is the centipedes. There are actually centipedes in the movie. They're named Christy and Gladys. I don't know who's who, but I think they are the true stars of this film.
They were in the credits?
They are in the credits. I tried to look for them on IMDb. They're not there. Maybe we need to add it or add them to Wikipedia. Do whatever. Let's do a campaign to recognize the talents of Christy and Gladys, the centipedes from the Human Centipede Part 2.
Christy and Gladys, the industry may not appreciate you, but God damn it if we don't.
We love you, Christy and Gladys.
Okay, I think we did it. I think this project's done. I mean, I still have to do all the editing and stuff, but I think your part's done. You've done it.
Yeah, my part's done for this one. I love it. I've had a fantastic time, and I hope everyone has also had a fantastic time joining me on this crazy, mind-bending journey. And I'm sorry, gentle listeners, if you are concerned for my mental health, but so is everyone who also loves me. They are also concerned about me.
Oh, man. I think you'll bounce back. You'll be fine.
I think I'll bounce back. I think I will.
But yeah, in the meantime, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for being a part of this weird, strange project. And Brad, I'll see you on the 12th and on the 13th.
Heck yeah. See you then.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
This has been the final episode of Fear a Day, presented by the Maximum Mediocrity podcast. If you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing and maybe share this with a friend. Our theme song is Unbearable by Dominant.